Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome.
To another episode.
Yes, Uncancel Culture, y'all. Thank you again, everybody, for all of the support and love. We see you, we hear you, we thank you. Thank you for being a part of this culture we're creating. Let me do a reminder at the top of the episode. If you could, please send in questions for the culture. We really need that for us to keep this thing going, and we appreciate and want to hear from y'all. So, yeah. But yeah, welcome. Today we have
a very, very special guest. I'm so excited. When Shahem and I first started talking about doing this podcast episode months ago, for people who act like never mind. Let me not. People plan things. Let me just say that. People are professional. We plan. We're creatives. But when we first started talking about this, we both literally had one person in mind.
First one that came to mind.
The first one came to mind. Bree, also known as Unusually Bree.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank y'all for having me. I love you guys so much to life. I feel like we've just been messaging back and forth about all this crazy stuff for years now. So it feels like I'm just talking with the besties, you know?
For real.
Yeah.
Like the feeling is mutual.
So mutual.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to see you so happy and just full of life. It's oof, my goodness.
It's been a long time coming. I'm trying to tell you.
Look, it does feel like old friends keep keying, because there's something special about being visible, like as a content creator on the internet for years. I think right now we're in kind of like an uptick of some new content creators kind of coming to the surface in the last year, I would say. There's definitely, though, within the last 5 years, those of us who were part of that first wave when 2020 hit and we were all figuring it out together. It's like reunion.
It does.
It's like class of 2020.
No, for real. I love it.
Yeah, because I feel like I stitch your guys' content all the time. And I think one of my first ones that ever went viral was a stitch to yours talking about narcissistic abuse. And ever since then, it's just been... We've been close.
I can't wait to hear, when you get in the hot seat, which will be the second segment, you will have all of the space. But we do like to open up with questions from the culture. That is when our audience gets to ask us questions and we together answer it to the best of our ability. So actually, I have a question. Today's question is, where does the desire for accountability end and the desire to see someone suffer begin? I think that's a really good question, especially for everybody.
I know. Do you have yours ready?
Yes.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I am in the midst of a dog pile and as we are recording. And they get so upset every time I will remove myself from harassment, right? Because a lot of people believe that accountability means that you have the ability or you're entitled to the ability to literally berate, belittle, harass, demean, demoralize, dehumanize a person until you feel satisfied with them being low enough, because the goal is to make somebody feel low. A lot of people want to punish people and they don't even want accountability to begin with. I do feel like there are some people on the internet who genuinely want to see people grow and change, and they want to see the cultural needle push forward, but those people are very few and far between. The entire discourse tornado that has brewed on the internet has basically transformed into this giant punishment festival. And it's really just wild to see. But as far as the actual question, accountability ends when you think that a person needs to feel bad about themselves. You think that a person needs to be punished, needs to be ostracized, they need to be humiliated. That is when accountability ends for me. when I do things like turn my comments off because you're not about to like be in my space.
Yeah.
Calling me everything. Right.
Yeah.
Calling me everything but a child of God. Like,
yeah.
That's not accountability. Like, accountability is not you berating and jumping me. That is just literal.
It's carceral.
It's carceral.
It's the whole reason we started this damn podcast.
But I will say, it's the thing that pisses me off the most is the people who I see participate in it the most are some of the people who swear up and down that they are against carcerality. Those be the people who typically pull out the handcuffs first. And it's kind of sad. But yeah, that's what I think. Who want to go next?
Do you have your thoughts, Bree, or do you need a second?
It's a tough act to follow. I mean, it's hard to encourage someone to be accountable when you're bullying them at the same time. Like, people were telling me like, oh, be accountable. And it's like, I'm accountable for what I said. I told y'all bitch ass niggas to go to therapy. Like, what do you mean? Like, I will stand on that. Like, I will own that. I'll hold it. And I still 3 years later, same fucking message, you know? And a lot of people were like, you need to be accountable. You need to be this and this and that. And they're calling me everything but a child of God. And, you know, as content creators, it's one against thousands, sometimes millions. And their goal and objective is to hurt and harm and to not actually remedy or fix the situation, you know? So that's my 2 cents. Like, I feel like a lot of people are under the realm and the guise of like, I just want to hurt someone because my feelings are hurt, or because I don't understand what they're saying, or because I feel left out. And then the bandwagon, you know, the herd mentality is, we're gonna bully this bitch too because we agree that she is XYZ, you know? So I think intention is sort of where it ends. Like, do you intend to actually help somebody remedy a situation or overcome something? Or do you intend to hurt them because you feel some type of way about what they said? Like, I feel like when it comes to your content, a lot of people try to like harm and sort of flip what you say to whatever narrative when it's really coming. Like, I always know that what I might talk a lot of shit, but I know what I say like comes from my heart. It does not come from a place of trying to hurt and harm people. It comes from a place of, 1, being a hood bitch, 2, being educated, 3, I'm gonna speak to you in a way that you understand. You know, they don't. Like, a lot of people don't understand the duality and multifacetedness of creators, you know. So
they say they want, they say they do, or they say they want to see it, and then the moment they see it, they're like, why aren't you acting or why aren't you in this box? I also think there's an aspect of like the line that we're talking about between accountability and just like shaming folks is the performance. If you really care about accountability, you're not expecting it to be performed to the way that you want it to be on the internet, because accountability is happening behind the scene. Like, if you really want someone to change behaviors that you or a lot of people are deeming harmful, you don't think, or you don't want that to be talked about in their community, their tangible community offline. Like, that's not enough for you. You have to see it when you don't know these motherfuckers from a can of paint and they don't know who you are. You're faceless anime PFP on the internet. Who the fuck are you?
It's
no, but like dead ass.
One.
And it's like, they also don't even care about a change behavior or an acknowledgement. One of the most recent things that I posted was talking about like this, just a whole bunch of bullshit dogpiling and people talking out the side of their neck, and it started in ways that was just like beef, and then it's getting to a point of where it's like people are getting doxxed and there's really harmful things happening. And I took my example of the bullet bag thing from 3.5 years ago. Like, here's my reflection from that to tell y'all, a lot of y'all on every side are acting really fucking foolish, and please reflect, what the fuck is your goal? Does that align with what you want? A lot of you are reacting. These are all questions I had to ask myself, and that turned into you trying to play middleman. You defending your friends. You doing this. I'm like, I'm verbatim telling you that I have been there. I've been the person that's reacted. I have been the person who's engaged in the carcerality and the dogpiling, and I'm telling you my reflections and how it didn't align with me. And you're turning this into another dog pile. You don't actually want accountability. You want a dog pile circus. And it's like, my question for myself now is like, being a content creator for 5 years, doing this shit full time for 3 years. What energy am I gonna put into it? You know, and like shifting the content I want to create or how I want to show up and engage online, because it's like it's tiring. Like it's dead ass so fucking tiring. Y'all not tired?
Yeah.
We got that orange man in the office, and you wanna.
Yeah. Even though like because I saw the video, like they were upset because they named me specifically and Imani are people who block people. And I'm gonna just let it be known now, I'm going to block you if you think that you're going to come to my space, the digital space that I spent years curating, and talk to me in a demeaning fashion. Like, you have lost your fucking mind. Like, you have literally, your mind has fell out your fucking skull and rolled down the street. And I'm not apologizing for that. Y'all confuse literal harassment with accountability and think that I have to let you harass me. And that is the part that really does boggle my fucking mind.
Foolish.
Like, you think that you are entitled to talking to me in a negative way. And I've been accused of creating an echo chamber. I have people who disagree with me in my space all the time. Y'all, you can tell who has no friends in real life.
You can tell.
Or like very poor relationships at the very least. They're not deep, intimate connections. Who is not friends with people they disagree with? Just because we disagree does not mean we can't be in each other's space. The issue is when you think that you get to talk to somebody in a demeaning fashion because you disagree. That will never be allowed over here. And they keep saying like, oh, like how are you a therapist blocking people? And it's like boundaries. I'm literally exhibiting how to have boundaries. Like, the boundary is you're not going to talk to me any type of fucking way.
That is so sick.
Hello?
Well, let's speak to the fact that they think because you have this profession, you're supposed to present yourself in this very like Eurocentric way. I did not go to school to talk to white folks. I'm sorry.
My God.
I went to school to learn how to communicate with us because we don't have mental health treatment or like any spaces that really belong to us, you know?
Oh
but
my God.
They get mad when you say that.
They get pissed. They're like, oh, you're supposed to be sunshine and pussy rainbow. No, I have boundaries, and you're not going to tell me to kill myself because you don't agree with what I said.
No, I'm so happy that you
Bree?
are mentioning, though, like how they think therapists, because look, say whatever you want. I know all professions kind of get it on all sides on the internet, but specifically therapists, especially black therapists, are held to such an extremely high standard because they think that we are supposed to stop being black people. And this is why I keep telling them, y'all do not want black people in these spaces. You want the aesthetic of a black face. You do not like us. Like, you don't like us being black in these spaces. Like I said, I hate to drop my nuts, but like, please don't compare yourself to me ever. They said, wow, you're threatening to put your genitals on somebody. That's AAVE. I'm talking like my people. Y'all supposed to get that.
Then they said that's obscure AAVE. Obscure? You mean regional?
Oh my God.
You mean relative? You mean I really wonder. I be wondering how many of these motherfuckers grew up around black people.
I be wondering how many of them are being serious, because it's no way y'all all being serious. Some of y'all gotta be like just cackling when you turn the camera off and thinking like this is just a joke. We're cosplaying upset people because some of it is just nonsensical. But yeah, they like to dehumanize and police black therapists in a way that is just kind of absurd. They also don't know that therapists are people. Like, you don't want me to be a person who is upset. You don't want me to be a person, like, they just want me to be a therapy machine. And I hate having to explain so often, like, hey, I hope you don't understand. I'm not at work right now. Like, I'm actually clocked out.
This is not therapy.
Like, you're not my client. You know this, yes?
I wonder if it's how people blur the lines between, like, using people, children, like adultifying children, using friends as therapists. They blur the lines of like people like putting that labor onto people who are not like that actual like profession all the time, that when they see someone who is like that profession, that like blurred line also happens where,
I think so, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not like a delineation between like I'm a therapist when I'm clocked in and then here I'm a person, because they make regular people therapize them all the damn time. And I've heard people, I don't need therapy, I have friends, or making their children their little their emotional support child. So it's like, you're supposed to act like I'm supposed to be able to dump all this. And how much of this is because you were adultified as a kid, you just doing this to other people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's interesting you say that because I think a lot of it is also chalked up to ignorance of not knowing what therapy and what a therapist actually is. Because let's be real, niggas is not going to therapy. They're not, you know. We have been taught, I mean, well, obviously, like it's ingrained in us to not trust like the medical profession, therapy even more so. So when they have us pioneering these spaces, they're like, what? It's a complete paradigm shift of like, oh, I thought a therapist was just supposed to sit in a chair and ask me, how does that make you feel? Not twerk your stress out of your hips, you know? Like, we're creating a shift and building this sort of like masterpiece or painting this canvas of what therapists can be and who we really are. And creating that like human element to the therapy space, because I can already tell like your therapy space is immaculate just from the content that you create. But people don't realize that we come from like a very human standpoint, like regardless of gender, sexuality, all of that stuff. I'm coming to you as a human being and we're talking our shit so we can figure out our problems. But then people want to argue on the internet who ain't never booked an appointment.
Ever.
Crazy.
You know how many times I've been told I'm a bad therapist by somebody who I've never even like interacted with a day in my life? Like, how do you know? How would you know that? You've never even been in my chair.
Projecting. And it really, and that's how I know they've never been to therapy, because therapists, a good one, will drag you out the mud and tell you about yourself, or let you tell yourself about yourself. Talk yourself into the point, and they're like, you see how you just did that? Right. Right.
Listen,
so what are we gonna do about that?
My therapists get me together every 2 weeks. I'm like, bitch, ease up. You don't know my life like that, even though I've been talking to her for the past 5 years. Like, she do know me like that. But like, I love the fact that I have a Black woman therapist, because she can understand my lived experience as a Black woman. And the shift that I'm attempting to create is to help people feel comfortable in these spaces, you know. Talking to like a white therapist, yes, they're qualified to do the work, but there's just a certain nuance that comes with being a Black person, especially in America. And wouldn't you want somebody who like can identify, like, yeah, no, niggas ain't shit sometimes. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to come in a very like open...
How could you talk about that as a therapist?
Niggas, what?
I actually slipped up in a session a couple of weeks ago. I was like, don't let no... I said, oof. But like...
I mean...
I think it's like, why do we have to become white people in order to be good at our jobs? I just will never... It can't be me. Like, and I think they expect... I don't know what they expect, but like therapists are like just people. Like, I promise we be having our own shit going. We got our own mess.
People.
We got our own trauma. Mm-hmm. We just have a certain skill set. Like, that's it. And I don't plan on changing who I am. Like, I just can't. In fact, I can't. Like, I don't know what to be if not myself. Like, I've never been anything but me, so I don't know where to start. So
I wonder if people also aren't friends with therapists in real life.
No.
Like, I've got a lot of therapist friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they all talk out the side of their neck all the time. Like, that,
absolutely.
it's never...
We're reckless.
I'd be like, you therapize people in a room. And look at how you talk. Yeah, well, off the clock.
Well, yeah.
Duality.
When I'm clocked out.
Definitely saying
out.
bitch ass niggas the moment it's clocked out. Man. But they never, client privileges.
And they,
ethical.
You know what they said? Somebody, and this is the rumor, this is the one rumor I really don't like, because it's just so frustrating. Somebody said I got popular by telling my client stories, my client's personal stories. Name one personal story. One.
That's my
You
go-to.
will never find it, ever.
You can't identify a single fucking person.
Not a
because
single one.
We sat in that ethics class and
Hello?
learned what is appropriate and what's not. But just because I speak the way that I do doesn't mean that I'm violating all these ethics.
Exactly.
Like, I would never tell a client story. You can't. You'll never
beyond that, and I appreciate that too, Bree. I do, but I'm a real ass nigga. I'm not. When you tell me something, it's locked. We are locked in. Why would I be sharing your business up and down the timeline?
Hello?
Are you? Hello?
They literally sign a confidentiality waiver.
Yeah.
Like it's like against the law. You literally can't do
But
it.
like,
Duh.
also, like, who are you to tell me what got me popular, bitch? I've been popping before. I've been popping since Tumblr, ho. How you gonna tell me what got me popular?
That's really nuts. They
Yeah,
really talking
that's it.
talking
Fuck
out
that
their
one person in
ass.
particular. But that's the thing back to the question for the culture,
Right.
right? People love to like accountability. The word, child. Accountability leaves the space the second motherfuckers start playing that game of telephone for me. When y'all start, yeah, I heard this, I heard that, I heard this, and they just pile it on top of each other. It's always a I heard. It's never a receipt. It's never a screenshot.
Never.
It's never a video. It's
I was
always a
there.
I heard. You ain't heard shit except the voices in your head, and you need to book a session if you really want to talk about that.
And why was that? Why was that something that was problematic to say that someone needs to book a session? I thought we all agreed everybody needs therapy.
Go see that lady.
And yes, and sometimes yes,
I see her too. I see her every week.
You need to go. You should go see a therapist. That's wrong to say to people.
Apparently, child. Go see that lady. Some of y'all really need to hear it. And this is the problem. Y'all be surrounding yourself with people who won't tell you that. Go see that fucking lady. I see her every week. I love her. Shouts out. I'm not going to say should I say my therapist's name?
No.
Why the fuck would you
Shouts
say
out
no?
to her, though.
Chest. Don't do that.
He was like, why would all
love
that?
her, but
all
not
that
going to say her
talking-
name, but she knows she's very loved. Okay?
All that talking about, I never tell a client story.
Well,
But my
I'm the
girl.
client.
Girl,
I'm the client though, so I'm my client. Well, I always tell my clients, listen, because they be mad. I know some of them really be mad. I be like, if you see me getting jumped on a timeline, they be like, I want to say something so bad. Don't, baby, let me have it. It's okay. We already fighting enough demons back and forth together. I don't need you to be swinging at these people on the timeline, and I know you'll crash out and you'll take it there. Don't do it, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love my crash out clients.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
They
I'm like, so what we do this week, baby? She's like, oh, I called him 70 times and I rode up to his house. Yeah, I love those clients. They're the best. Yeah.
Well, without further ado,
it's time.
Speaking of you having clients, I think this is the time to go to the second segment, which is the hot seat. The hot seat, again, if you don't know, is where we talk about a specific person, situation, idea, whatever the fuck that might be controversial, has gone through some controversy, could be canceled, has been canceled. And today we have Bree at Unusually Bree to tell her story.
Where do you want me to start?
Where do you want to start? That is...
What
was the year?
I would like to thank God. Listen, honestly, I'm just happy to be alive because I really thought like I was in the darkest space I've ever been in my entire life. And I just felt like things just kept piling on. So to start, I'm glad to be alive and practicing and all of that. It was just a really crazy experience. Like there's still to this day a lot of blame on like, oh, it's Black men's fault, it's Black women's fault. And it's just like, can we just let that shit die and really focus on the fact that men are lonelier than ever the fuck before? Like I feel like we lost the plot and just focused on the Black therapist who lost her job, who got fired, and all this weird shit. Like there's no focus on what we were actually even talking about in the first place.
Right.
Well,
to give people a breakdown of what, or like a summary of what happened who might not have been there. I think the year was what, 2021, 2022?
It was 2022, August. It's so crazy. So I posted a video in response to the Rise in Lonely Single Men article that was going on around that time. And I don't know why my video of all of the fucking videos that people responded to just went massively viral. And so I had said in the video, a common misconception about me is that most of my caseload are Black men, but in reality it was Black boys because I was doing school-based therapy. So part of me is kicking myself for not being more clear on that, but it doesn't matter at this point. And so there was an uproar behind me saying like, hey, take your dusty ass to therapy. This is why women don't want to sleep with you. Like, you're hard to be around. Just go talk to somebody, you'll be fine. And someone wrote an article doxing my personal like name, because I hadn't used my name online at that point in time. They doxed my personal information, doxed where I worked. Then someone from the United Kingdom emailed my job, and then the shitstorm just happened. Like, they kept getting a bunch of emails, phone calls. And so I posted the video on Tuesday. They took my profile down from the place that I worked on Wednesday.
Wow.
Sort of iced me out on Thursday. And by Friday, I thought I was just going in for a mediation, like, hey, how do you guys want to handle this? And they were like, bitch, you gotta go. Business is business. Yeah. And I had asked them, is this like have any reason like to do with like my therapy skills? Like, does this have to do with any of like my practice? And they were like, business is business.
Business is business.
Yeah. And the crazy part about all of this stuff is that the person who fired me was my old professor. So he was the one who taught me, like, I would say how to be a therapist, but a lot of those skills. And so I was leaving a previous practice that was fucking me over. I reached out to him and said, hey, I need some guidance. Can you help me on this? And he was like, yeah, come over to our practice. So I felt safe because he knew I had done the content creation ahead of time and all this other stuff. But he didn't even give me the courtesy of a conversation about this before he even fired me. He just fucking fired me. And threw me to the wolves.
What race were they?
What?
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I was the token Negro there. I come to learn. Yeah. And he discovered that I was a lot more nuck if you buck in real life, because he had only seen this sort of like code switching grad school me that's like, like, you know, whatever. Not the like me fully expressing my like authentic self. So after he fired me, they wrote statements which only added fuel to the fire from the beasts on the internet who were attacking me. Then he reported me to the board, almost got my license taken. But the board was like, we don't know why they're gassing this. We told them to go to therapy. Like, we want you to advocate for people to go to therapy. So the board of counseling was like, bitch, you didn't do nothing wrong. So
say that one more time.
Look square in the camera.
The Ohio Board of Marriage and Family Therapy, Social Work, and Counseling Board said Shabree Rawls LPC didn't do a goddamn thing wrong.
Period.
Thank you.
So the people who spend all that time on Twitter telling me what ethics I violated, maybe you should go to school and read some more books.
That video was so tame. That's the part that scares me.
Ass.
Listen, I think it's honestly because I was a Black woman.
Yes.
Telling them
of course it was.
that they have heard for years now. Like, your mama told you got some screws loose, go to therapy and get some maintenance. Like, your homeboy's like, maybe you shouldn't treat your bitch like that. You should probably talk. Like, people have told y'all
in worse ways.
That y'all need in worse ways, you know? But
they want it in a white package. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
They do. And so after I got fired, I was extraordinarily suicidal. My brother had recently passed like right before that, so I was already in a really like fucked up, burned out space. And it took me so I did content creation for 2 years on like OF and doing the mental health content over there. So it took me about 2 years to recover from the burnout just to start practicing again. And then I fell into another place that wasn't the best, but now I finally landed in a space where I am fully protected because my boss, he also does content creation. So once I saw that, I was just like, yeah, no, we're in a good spot. So even though I lost so much and was so devastated and heartbroken, I'm receiving everything back tenfold. Like, my old clients are coming back to me. Like, it's really been such a fucking blessing. Like, it's been great. Yeah.
One of the things I really remembered, I remember so much vividly. I remember the video you had on Blue. You had on turquoise blue.
Like titty,
you had a turquoise blue.
I had just got out of bed.
You were standing up. You were so gleeful. You said, y'all bitches need to get to therapy. Y'all just need love. It was so good. You were literally uplifting them. It was critical thinking levels were bad then and they even worse now. You were uplifting them like, you dusty niggas, you bitches got to go to therapy because y'all are the loneliest. Can you imagine? Like, this is what y'all, I'm talking specifically to Black men. Y'all need this. Anyways, and I remember after you had gotten fired, one of the first videos you made was being sad about your clients.
Yeah.
That you were like, y'all
Devastated.
don't understand what you just did. Like, I had sessions with clients. I have clients.
They ruined 5 years of therapeutic relationships. And you already know how tough that is to like
Yes.
maintain. But I'm so glad you brought that up, because the client that recently came back was the client that I had that day I got fired. And so to
Oh,
talk to her 3 years later was one, I cried like a fucking baby after the
wow.
session, but she was like, I just didn't know what I was gonna do. But like, if it's meant for you, it will come back to you. And
Amen.
to be able to treat her again and just
Oh.
pick up like nothing ever ended speaks to my work more
Yeah.
than, and so what where I always like try to remind myself is that your work will speak for itself. People can say whatever the fuck they want to say about you. They can spit on your name, ruin your reputation, but your work will
Yeah.
always speak for itself. And the fact that I've gotten my people back as soon as they found out that I was practicing again,
Oh.
like that was all I needed.
Can I even just take this moment to highlight like something that is really important about like this conversation, right? Because people
Absolutely.
see like mental health content creators specifically, right? And not just me or you, but like all of us in general. I've been asked before, why we never see you with your clients. It's like, well, do you have therapy with the internet like to see? Like that don't even make sense. But what you see when you are trying to police us and get us like ruin our entire livelihoods, mind you. When you do that, you're not just like fucking with us. You are fucking with a whole caseload of people who like for most of us are dealing with intense trauma. And you are literally removing people from communal resources, from therapeutic resources. You're interrupting people's lives. Y'all,
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna say y'all because I feel like that's a charged thing. People be feeling hit when I say that. But a
Say
lot
it.
of people,
If it don't hit?
they don't know how to do that
Well,
yet.
that they
We
need to work on that. That has nothing to do with that. Ain't fuck
Y'all
no.
niggas.
Fuck that.
Y'all
I don't get hit.
niggas.
I don't get
Okay.
hit when it ain't if it ain't
Okay,
me.
yeah. Okay. Well, y'all niggas, sorry, don't understand or recognize that you are being short-sighted when
Mhm.
you approach people. You don't know the connections that people have and the people that other people hold up. Even if, like, I got a child at home. She's a cat, but yeah, she's a child.
I was
I have
like,
to
puppy's
feed
right
her.
here.
Yeah,
what?
like that's
Yeah.
I said you gay. How don't get it.
I have nieces and nephews that are very broke. They depend on me.
They sure do.
They are broke.
Every
okay? Yeah, frequently. But like all jokes aside, though, it really is important to know that you impact a whole community when
Yeah.
you do stuff like be carceral on the internet. I know it's so tempting to want to get motherfuckers fired from their jobs and stuff, but unless it's somebody doing something like super egregious that is actually putting people in harm's way, y'all are dragging it.
Yeah.
How is it? Who are you harming by saying take your dusty ass to therapy? And yes, I co-signed that message when it happened. I co-signed it to this day. A lot of you niggas need to take your dusty asses to therapy. Go see that lady.
To be honestly,
Please.
it proved your point. I said, look at how y'all acted. If you had the
Listen,
emotional
dogs were hollering. Yes.
you had the emotional regulation skills, they wouldn't have acted like that. And it was, I mean, the fact that it wasn't even like men, and this was about a year after the shit had happened to me. So I was like, I already know how this is finna go, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the men who are upset, and then you're gonna have the ones who have that compulsive patriarchy and heteronormativity and misogynoir embedded and internalized in them to be like, see, we gotta get her. And it's like, you don't, the pick me's, the birds, cuckoo. Hello. And it's like, look at how y'all are acting. The emotional regulation is lacking. You're using the tools that you claim to hate. And it's a really good point to talk about. I was gonna bring that up too. Like, if we're talking about accountability, it's in real life accountability and real life harm. Y'all think this shit just exists on the internet, and it's like people, communities, families, like it is tangible. And though I wasn't a therapist when I got fired, but I worked the district I got fired from. I grew up in that district. That was the district I went to school in, and my mom currently worked in that district, and my baby siblings went to school in that district, and The day that I got like suspended, the day after, my mom immediately got called somewhere and was like, we're not going to renew your position at this school.
Wow.
Immediately. And we both were like,
wow.
I know this has to do with that. And then I had to think about like, so I'm going to either have to like, I could fight the district, but I got baby siblings that go to school still. And if some shit happens to them, I'm actually going to crash the fuck out because I was close with my mama. But like, you got to make those decisions of like, I just have to like, try to carve out a different life, but you're not understanding the like tangible things and resources that people are like. My mom was a single mom, and if some shit happened to her job because y'all want to dogpile me because I said some shit on the internet that was correct, you're like, that's a whole home and it's a family, and they literally do not think about that shit.
What scares me is that they probably just don't give a fuck. Like, that is the part that's even scarier. Like, they probably don't care. They don't care that they're ruining people's lives. In fact, they have actively tried to do that to me, like even recently, because I said some shit they disagree with. You think that I should suffer to the point where I am houseless. You think I should be jobless. You think that like, that's wild to me. Like, it's just never that
so
serious.
Extreme.
Yeah, I
like
don't.
Imagine losing the most significant and important support system that you have.
Yeah.
Some people don't have friends and family that they can lean on. They have that therapist that they can talk their shit every week to decompress, to feel seen, to feel like a human being. And that was just ripped from them. Like, I don't give a fuck about a job. What I care about is those therapeutic relationships, because those are people's lives, you know? And I'm glad you brought that up about your family, because I was scared being doxxed that they would find my family members, because you know, it's easy to find people on the internet. And so it's hard to maintain this level of like safety and security when you're putting yourself out there. Like, I never anticipated or expected to go viral. Like, I was just making content for people to feel seen and to like, you know, build community. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're just doing this for clout and you're just doing, and it's just like, no, there's a gap of mental health services, so we fill that gap. And to be punished and to be called everything but a motherfucking child of God because you don't agree is so small-minded. And when we call people out on these things, we get even more backlash. And so I want to ask you guys, how do you handle the backlash? Because it took me about 2 years to like get a tough enough skin to even look at the comments. Like, the shit came down so hard on me and it was so unexpected. I was unable to check comments for a while, which I still don't check them. The DM, you already know. You already know how hard it was to get the DMs because I barely even checked that. Like, I feel so just disconnected from the world and from society and from the content creation space because I just feel attacked every single time I post, and it just like I don't feel motivated to continue to do. Like, so how do y'all deal with, because y'all are just like, fuck you, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna post another video. How do y'all
it's actually like... not that. It's not that for me. I'll be honest, like, vulnerable moment, like I even had a super tough, like I'm currently in the middle of a dog pile. So like it's tough. Like there are moments where it's just like, wow, these people like really don't see me as a full human being who is worthy of grace and all that jazz. Today, like because I was feeling this throughout the day, I booked a massage and I got a massage like
today.
Yeah,
so did
right
I.
before. Yeah, well, see, we are sister signs for real. But yeah, I got a massage because I was like, I'm gonna actually do something to take care of myself. Who was I talking to? I forget who I was talking to because it was actually somebody who got me together earlier. I forget who I was talking to. Oh my God, was it Anthony? I was talking to a friend and somebody was like, you need to you know what? It was Francesca. Francesca was like, baby, like, get yourself a massage, take care of yourself, do what you got to do. Like, don't give them the fodder that they're looking for. I think after a certain point, like, people don't see you as a person anymore. And I refuse to be disconnected from my humanity. Yeah. That's the one thing that I have keeping me going. And maybe it's because I'm from Baltimore and like just where we from. Like it's no shade. I know. Go ahead.
I'm from Ohio.
I'm from down the hill.
I'm from
if
down
you
the
didn't
hill.
If you didn't know.
Where I'm from, like, you just cannot let people knock you off your square. And that's not to say that I'm not a human being with feelings, but every time I do feel down and I get in that space, I have boundaries. Like, I will lock the doors. They still be getting mad that I lock the doors. Bitch, access denied. You can talk about me, but you ain't finna do it in my face. In fact, why do you want to do it in my face? That's so weird. But
they want attention.
That's why I said. That's why I be telling them that they want to kiss me.
Yeah.
I be like, you want to kiss me so bad.
They don't know if they want to fight or fuck.
They don't
have that level of authority.
It's the second
and they
one.
hate it. They hate when you say it. I say that all the time. You want to fuck me so bad.
They hate when I say I'm a bad bitch. Like they I don't know if they just don't want us to have confidence or what it is. But I'm glad you said that, because through this whole healing period, like, I've just been focusing on self-care, rest, relaxation, because the days of crying in the fetal position feels like wasted energy for niggas on the internet who literally don't wash they fucking ass.
They don't.
Like,
I have to, like,
crack.
Remember that, like, we're like titans, we're giants, we're gods and goddesses, and there are dust buckets trying to dim that light, you know.
Always.
Honestly, they deify us. That was something that I kind of like realized, is in the same way that you can be dehumanized on the end of the spectrum, where it's like objectification and like being told terrible things, rape threats, death threats, right? There's also this deification that happens that's also dehumanizing. You're seeing me as like whatever you want to project onto me as a mannequin and not like a tangible human being. And that finding my center in the middle ground, and knowing who I am, regardless of that, has been something that's been really important. And honestly, a very ongoing process. Like, even just like last week, I had a breakdown. Because I was like, it is fucking exhausting to constantly be visible, and every day you have to think about what people are expecting of you, what people are saying about you, what people are disappointed in, what they want from you, what they're happy about. And you have to hold that load when you're awake, when you're sleeping. The energy from that alone is a lot, right? A lot. And it's like, and I have to keep pushing, and I got to be creative. I had a breakdown, and like for days, I was just like, I'm low, I'm depleted of energy. I need to do some self-care stuff, book a massage, and also, what do I want to create? And they don't need access to everything that I have possible to create, because if you're going to disrespect me, not even just critique what I'm creating, whatever, but disrespect me in the process, I'm not going to give you access to the shit that I want to put out there. No, I'm going to put something, or I'm going to put things out there that I want to put out there, and it's going to attract the people who it's for. The rest of y'all motherfuckers can go. And I've been doing this long enough and have had to grow, which is another thing I said. I've had to grow on the internet, being visible. I've had to make mistakes. I've had to react. I've had to be vulnerable. I've had to create in real time, learn about who I am as a creative, all while being visible, that y'all are not about to define who I am. And in the process, I've gained genuine community. You're also not going to strip that away from me. And this goes into... They try. So weird. They try.
They don't want us to be friends in real life. I will never understand that. Like, I don't get it.
Like, they want it to stay isolated in this parasocial way. And it's like, y'all might have like only stayed parasocial. But in order for me to do this, I have to have tangible community in real life. And like, it's them that gets me in the moments of where I'm able to be at like a communal event and I'm breaking down about this shit because I can't even be present, and I have my loved ones around me who are able to like ground me and not say that isn't my reality, because they know it is. And even if they can't relate, they're just providing a space for me where it can be safe and brave for me to just kind of exist and be. So this goes into a larger thing that I've been thinking about, where I'm like, well, actually one of my like really close friends out here asked me, she was like, where's like, two of them did, where is the wellness for content creators?
Ooh.
And it does not exist.
And like, do y'all not have a space? These are both like community organizers out here, and one, you know one of them. Elise, my roomie.
Elise would really eat that. We should talk about that.
I know, my little nesting partner. And then one of my metamors. They both had polyamorous girl, look, we got people. But they were like, where's the wellness for content creators? Do y'all have a space where y'all can just be and exist with other content creators and have like yoga or like meditation or just something? And I was like, no, the only times that I'm around other content creators are these branded events that we still have to perform and show up at. And it's like, it sucks to not be able to have spaces to like breathe and be real with each other.
Yeah. That is something that we should really like work on creating. And also, I want to just even acknowledge, right, after a certain threshold of visibility, they don't like to acknowledge it, but there's a target placed on your back just permanently.
Yes.
Like people feel as if when you get to a certain size, like you just like they are on a mission. And I hate to even acknowledge it because like the reality is I still remember very vividly when my platform was much smaller. In fact, I am frequently reminded by the people in my life who are closest to me, like, Shahem, wait, you are not you are not there no more, baby.
No.
You can't say it. People are not going to accept that from you no more because you're held to a different standard. And unfortunately, though, with that visibility, like comes that target. People have an X on your back. And as exhausting as it is, I have to be honest, like, I have also like gained such a beautiful and loving community as a result. Like, and I know now not to put too much stock in the opinions of people who just literally do not know what it's like to experience like mass harassment and hate. You have, and it's literally no shade, but if you have 100 followers, you have a private account that has a cartoon Abby, you don't know what it's like to have thousands of people criticizing, chastising, berating you, tearing you down at all times. It's not fun. And I don't say that to say that you're not a human who doesn't understand human suffering, because you know that. All of us do. We're human beings. But I don't let people who don't walk in the experience of having to curtail every movement that you make tell me how I should move when I'm like literally staring down the barrel of mass harassment. And they don't know what it's like to have a bunch of people trying to strip you of your humanity all the time. They don't know what it's like to log on the internet as a therapist and be told that you're a bitch, that you are awful, that you're a fake therapist, that you don't belong in the space that you worked put years of education and experience into. They don't know what that's like. So I cannot let those people dictate how I live and how I move. I just can't. Even though it's hard not to sometimes. That's why we have each other. We have to lean on the people who walk in that experience with us. And that's not to say, because this is another thing I want to really, really highlight. This is it. We are not separate. And I think they work really hard to separate us. And this is part of why I keep going and coming back into the fold. I don't ever want to lose that part of me that feels like I'm connected with the person with with an Abby and 103 followers. I can kick it with y'all, like, because y'all are my peoples just as much as I'm y'all's people. And I know, like, there's this, like, attempt to, like, because we live in such a, like, hierarchical society where everybody feels like everybody got to be in a caste system or separated, that we have to, like, kind of, like, dissect or separate from each other. I don't want to do that. But I do know that there has to be boundaries between those who seek to weaponize that hierarchy and think that because there's a separation or like a difference in like the amount of followers that they get to unload or unleash hell upon you. And that's just not. Yeah, there needs to be boundaries between those people, but I will never lose my humanity for those who don't feel like that they get to dehumanize me because I have followers. It's so ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, virality is such a nuanced experience. Like you both know what it's like to have thousands of comments coming in at once and likes and shares. And it can be a very traumatizing experience if it's not in a positive direction. And I really love the vulnerability of both of you guys because I have broken down my fair share of times, but nobody ever sees that part of when your favorite content creator is having a fucking mental breakdown because what they said wasn't received very well or XYZ. And I felt really like they attempted to isolate me from the community that I created. Like my TikTok got banned and all type of shit. Like I still don't have live access because every time I've been permanently banned. Every every time I go live, I get mass reported and all these things. And so they're deliberately doing things to separate me from the community that I've created. But then it also is another layer of separating me from creators who I've also been in community with. And the communities that we've built and the creator friendships that we've made have truly been the only reason why I've been able to, carry on and continue, because a lot of people, when I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if you're going viral in the wrong direction, a lot of people will just hop on the bandwagon for clout.
Yes.
So many people were like, oh, we're gonna arrange a job for her, and all she needs to do is reach out. I reached out to so many people and got ghosted.
Really?
So all of these people who were popping all that shit like, oh, protect Black women, blah, 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 they were just doing it for clout, Wow. And you two are amongst the ones who are like, no, we really stand by this bitch. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, 10 toes.
10 toes.
Yeah, like
I was ready to slide about it. I'll let you know that now. But yeah,
I appreciate that.
10 toes. There's also this like I've noticed, and this could be a hard one, of the people who jump on it without wanting to actually help or be part of community, and you're like, and then the people who jump on it just to jump on it and talk about it, and you're like, oh, I thought you, okay, like. I'm a
person. Like, I needed help, and when you reach out for help and not receive that, it's even more like isolating. Yeah. So I guess for me, like as a creator, I've just been trying to find like where I fit, and the more authentic and the more I am myself, the more people I find who are like, like-minded. And I realize not everybody wants authenticity. Not everybody wants the truth. They don't want you to show up as yourself because for some reason in their life, whether it's society, job, parents, whatever, they have not been allowed to be themselves. So us expressing ourselves the way that we do seems sort of like aggressive and loud to reflect to them of what they're not doing,
They love a fake bitch. They do.
They love a fake bitch.
And they have
I don't know how to do that shit.
I don't know how to do, and I've never been that. So like, never. I really, like, you can't. You know me. I can't even hide my facial expressions when I'm not feeling.
You can't at all, ever. Don't take Christina nowhere, Lord.
Take me everywhere, but I will shut my mouth, but I will not hide my face.
Christina shutting her mouth. I rolled the whole nine. You ain't shutting nothing. Shut your eyes too.
I'm shutting my mouth.
I feel like that's like the commonality of like all of us creators of like, we just can't shut the fuck up. We just have something to say and have to say it. And I think it takes a lot of courage to be in the positions that we are, because the visibility, I'm a very private person. I know I get on TikTok and share about my healing journey, but I'm like in real life, I'm in the cut at the, like in the spot, just in the back, people watching. Observing. Like I'm very, yeah. And to put ourselves out there, or to put myself out there, was a completely new experience. And I receive a lot more love than I do hate, but it's so hard to not focus on the people who are telling you, bitch, you ain't shit, and all that other weird shit,
I think
that's because they ain't shit. They project.
Well, they're not.
I feel like the tactics of the people who hate is really, really loud. You know what I mean? And the tactics of the like hate can get really dangerous and harmful to the point where it's like, I can ignore it. And also, can you check this for me to make sure nobody's doxing me? Like, once you've been doxed once and stuff, it's like a constant, like, at least for me, fear, like it could always get there. So if I'm trying to protect my peace and not look at comments, on the flip side, down that comes people that are like, do you need me to monitor this shit for you and let you know if there is something you need to? Yeah. And the fact that we got to do that, they also don't realize, like, I always say this, that I think content creators, we have the visibility of like celebrity without the like protection or without the actual status that would provide like the PR safety. Or safety, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we hate celebrity culture. You deify me in a celebrity status way. Okay, now I can't go outside without being stopped, without being with, oh my God, you're. I have no, like, or I do have autonomy. Y'all don't really treat me all the time like I have autonomy. You treat me kind of like this parasocial projection from the internet. What am I supposed to do? And like, I think you were right about what you were saying, that looking at people being so authentically themselves online can be something that like people aren't used to, or maybe they're jealous of, or it triggers them, whatever the reason. And they also don't know what it takes to actually be here. And you're seeing numbers, you're seeing virality behind the scenes. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to pay my bills if I lost my job. And this is, at any point, I have a job, y'all could try to get me fired, and it works. Okay, now what? And okay, cool.
Can I state like some things that I just genuinely want, like eventually? I want a world where everybody can come on the internet and share who they are without having to be in complete fear or terror that you will be judged heavily, critiqued heavily, dogpiled heavily, doxed, the whole nine. And I mean, everybody deserves to come on the internet. I don't care if you got one motherfucking follower with a cartoon Abby in a private account or 1,000,005 followers in a cartoon Abby in a private account. I really don't give a damn. I think everybody should have the space to exist on this internet, because the reality is, for the foreseeable future, the internet is a shared space. It is a third space that exists outside of our homes. It is a digital space, and I think we all deserve to exist within it. So that's one. Okay, I would really like to see that. And I just want us all to humanize each other. I think one thing that is the downside of the internet is that we have, and often do, lose sight of each other's humanity. I have been just as guilty of participating in this type of behavior and stuff before. I no longer wish to do it. That's the whole point of this. I just want us to humanize each other and to see the humanity in each other moving forward. And it's just a shame that I feel like we're getting further and further from it the closer we get to fascism. Actually, we are in fascism, no shade, but we are here now, and the last thing we need to do is continue to dehumanize and see each other as separate or others. In fact, this is why I feel like one of the reasons I struggle with this content creator shit is I actually don't want to feel like I'm separate from y'all. Like, we are all in this shit together. In fact, we are stronger as a cohesive unit, and when people get together and organize, shit really moves. Like 2020, shit moved. Like, I don't know if y'all remember summer 2020 shit. We moved shit.
But until then, I will be protecting my peace.
Yeah.
Y'all call me when it's moving again, because y'all got me actually No, it's crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because I think it's really important for content creators to have a balanced mental health and to protect their peace. And to protect my peace, I just won't post for months. And then I'm cooked by the fucking algorithm. So I'd be praying, hey, just share this, because I haven't posted in 6 months because I just can't handle the barrage of whatever. But my thing is, where I be so fucked up is I get all this hate and all this whatever when my heart is coming from a place of just wanting niggas to heal.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm on this personal mission to save niggas. I don't know where that comes from. Childhood trauma maybe, but on this mission to help people feel whole, to feel their most authentic selves. As a therapist, you just show up and advocate and be yourself, right? Yeah. And then to get so much hate on top of it is just what the fuck are y'all even mad at? I'm telling people to love themselves.
They was mad.
So it's this weird ass spiritual warfare. That's
I'm glad you brought that up, because what I have been thinking of.
You said that so aggressively. I'm glad you said it.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I was about to say.
Because I have been thinking, to your question, how you handle the consecration. Let me tell you something. Ancestors don't play about certain people.
Oh, I'm protected.
Without saying too much, because if you know, you know. If you know, you know, then you know you can't say all the things that you know. Point is, that helps too. I started tipping into that bag.
Get your licks in now, people. Listen. My peoples do not play about me.
Yeah.
And every tongue that rises against me shall fall. Okay?
Look, it's
not wise to play with a witchy crystal, bitch. It's not. I'm gonna burn a candle on your ass. Do not play with
They
me.
don't even be worth the wax.
You're right about that. And so so through all of the bullying and the harassment, I have become so much more confident in myself. I'm still a very sensitive person. If the sun is shining real pretty, I will fucking bawl my eyes out. I am.
What's your sign again?
I was just about to ask
Sagittarius.
What's your moon sign?
Capricorn.
What's the
Really?
rising?
Yeah, Virgo.
There's some Pisces
Ain't
in
no
there
motherfucking
somewhere.
water.
Yeah, no, I don't have any. I'm very,
Really?
very fiery. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm like a very sensitive, like empathic person. So like,
Sagittarius are very sensitive too.
yeah. And people think we're
They
Sagittarius, and it's just like we get a
Oh,
bad rap. But
well,
so all of this has
well,
really like,
duality.
strengthened my like identity and like my bad bitchery. Like I'm a bad bitch, you can't kill me type shit,
are.
Like, and I realized I had to go through all of this to even grow professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So losing my job and all of the shit I had to like overcome, like recovering from the burnout, fighting for to just keep my fucking lights on. All this stuff has made me an even stronger therapist. So
Mm,
it's
Mm.
just like, y'all gave me these gifts through this adversity that you put me in.
mm,
So I know niggas is like turning over in their motherfucking graves at the fact that one, I'm practicing again. Two, I'm happy about it. And three, again, I'm a bad bitch and you can't fucking kill me. And so now going through that experience, I feel like I've been through the worst of it. Like there's nothing else that y'all can really throw at me that is gonna stick because I know who I am,
And
you know?
once you see that, I think that's a really important point to like bring up, at least for folks who have experienced dogpiling or being viral and like tangible shit happening from it. Once you have the moment, because there's always like at least like the first one, the main moment where you're like, oh, it hits you, and then you see that life moves on, or and you find the practice of being able to transmute that moment
Mhm.
into something like better for you or into something that like allows you to grow and be better at the thing that you're trying to do, better at your calling. Oh, I'm powerful as fuck. I'm powerful as fuck. Y'all really can't
yeah.
touch me. And you're not ready when I was that's what I was trying to get at with my initial first video being like, y'all are going down a pipeline where you won't be able to control or you'll go down too far, you won't be able to come out, reflect what's your goal, realign. That made you mad? You're actually not ready for the actual reflection and the transmutation of this shit, of the lowest moment of your triggers, of your shadow side coming out and align and realigning that to what your actual goal and calling is.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of fucking work and act genuine accountability for people in your real life to remind you of that and to let you know when you might be kind of like not you're kind of like off your path a bit because you're allowing this negativity and this dogpile or just like this bullshit to kind of cloud you again.
Yeah. I feel like
I'm
you can
glad you
tell.
said that. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you could tell a lot of them ain't ever been scapegoated in their families. I feel like if no, for real, if you've been scapegoated in a family, you know exactly what it's like to be abused by the internet because
Hello.
that is
Yes.
exactly what it's like.
Hello.
Motherfuckers will gaslight you out your feelings. They will blame you for every
Literally.
motherfucking thing. At this point, I think I caused cancer. Like the way you let them tell it, I done caused World War II and 1.
Listen, the gaslighting is crazy. The internet trying to convince you that you deserve to be abused
Is
is like the
nuts.
most
They
wild
will do
shit
Nuts.
I've fucking ever
While
experienced.
being like what's it called, abolitionist.
Oh,
Because I'm
They
trying to
be
help you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, okay,
yeah,
not me
okay.
though, not me.
But
Whatever you
yeah, like
abolishing,
it
girl.
it is definitely given me like a tougher skin. And like having conversations like this with other creators is definitely like a motivation
Yeah.
to continue to like keep going. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this past week has been fucking terrible. Like it's been really bad. And I've been looking forward to like doing this. But it's good to have people who experience a similar experience that is very, again, very nuanced because
Mm-hmm.
the Black mental health space on the internet, we're sort of like pioneering this thing, you
Yes.
know? And so I keep having this thought when you're like trailblazing, you're agitating the system. And in
Mm-hmm.
order to initiate change, you already know like change comes through discomfort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that agitating these niggas about emotional intelligence, if that sparks at least 10 men to go to therapy, that's saving 10 relationships. And then those relationships, like the people who go to therapy it's not just them who transforms. It's the system around them that also sometimes transforms with them.
Right.
So when you think about the videos that you post, if you're impacting one person to change their situation, you're impacting 7 other people that they interact with, you know? So I realized that through the hate and adversity, it also gives us this power to spread our message even further. Like the emotional intelligence shit was viral for like 3 months. I'm like, when are y'all gonna stop talking about this shit?
You
When are
shook the
y'all gonna
world.
Yeah.
You
stop
shook the
pulling
world.
it
Go just out of
out?
bed in a blue moo.
Listen,
In a
I was in my panties for real. Like, I don't know. I feel like people take themselves too seriously, and I'm the type of therapist. I will tell my clients, I'm come as you are. Like, you want to talk your shit, me talk your shit. You want to swear, swear. If you want to
Exactly.
sit and cry the whole damn time, I'm here for you with whatever you need.
Yeah.
And to have this whole other life of like the content creator, like influencer, whatever, feels sort of like this double. At the time, it felt like this double life, but now I feel like things are converging to be as congruent and as fluid as possible, you know? So my therapist life, content creator life, my personal life, they all kind of converge into just me being my most aligned self. Like my boss is okay with me doing OnlyFans. Like we're very like sex positive in the sex therapy space, right? And so they like hire sex workers and different things like that. But the meeting that we just had, like our happy hour, he was encouraging me to share with the other people in our practice about the OnlyFans content that I do.
Period.
So like the fact that I've had in several interviews and they know that I do OnlyFans, know I do all this stuff, and they're just like, "Can you practice?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like,
Like, so
"Come on." So
anyways.
it's really not a problem. Like the only people who have a problem with me are people on the internet. People
Yeah.
who meet me in real life and be like, "No, this bitch is cool as fuck." What
I
did you
will.
think? Like, what did you
Yeah.
expect me to be? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are some beautiful points, and I will say, as another therapist who shows up like authentically, like themselves, like I actually like most of my clients now. I want to say like probably around half of them, like found me through when I quit my not my last job, but the job before that. I quit that job because my supervisor at the time asked me, do you think that you'll be able to progress in your career since you wear do-rags? And
Ooh.
I said, oh, that's my cue to leave,
Yeah.
baby, because you got me fucked up. Because I will
I
never
gotta
not
go.
be black wherever I go at. In fact, I saw so much progress with it because at the time I was working with boys, like in a lockdown program. And it's like, I'm seeing progress because they look at me and they see themselves. Like, I don't want to show up as anything outside of being me because
Yeah.
who the fuck wants to deal with a robot? Like, not me.
Right.
And, they don't understand, I think, a lot of the times, like, what it even means to show up in this very, like, white space. Therapy is a very fucking white
Can
space.
we talk about what it's like to be a black
Hello?
clinician in this space? Because wow,
They
I
don't
almost
understand.
wept.
Like, it's actually, like, really fucking hard. Like,
It's
and I
very
mean,
difficult.
you can Google, like, and I've talked about it ad nauseum, but, like, you can Google my name and you will see the racism that I even experienced in grad school. It was very public, unfortunately, which was very traumatizing. Like, that was very fucking traumatizing, having to navigate school and be, like, the black person who's being targeted by the administration at there. It was not fun. And, like, and my classmates, like, it's really just not fucking fun. And when you still manage to come out of, like, school, the education system, and still manage to, like, be yourself and to refuse to let yourself be beat down into, like, a pulp or into compliance, which is what, frankly, everybody on the internet seems to want. They want to be able to beat you into obedience to be exactly what they think a therapist should be. Like, you should respect the black therapist. I'm gonna tell you, and there's so many black therapists, like, in this space, like, and I'm so happy that we're a part of the same community, Bree. Like, the black mental health creators is a lot of us, but the black therapists in this space who show up and are still black people, y'all need to appreciate that because we don't have to perform whiteness. And I love that we are pioneering this, and I love that we are refusing to go down that route of, like, having to be something that we just simply fucking not.
I really wanted to black people. Why? I want to know why
Find it.
I'm trying to find it. Why do it be us dogpiling each other?
Oh, it's white people too.
It is white people too, but I'm not talking to them. I know why they do it. I know why black people do it, but there's a certain type of like internalized anti-blackness, crabs in a bucket type of pulling, yanking down that happens amongst black folks on the internet and like black followers of content creators or not follower, and just pulling. And it's like when it was black men threatening to rape me and like dox me and kill me and my partner and calling me all types of names and da-da-da, I was literally like, from number one, it was triggering because it brought me back to like actual like black boys and black men who had harmed me and like physically, right? Mm-hmm. But it was just like, whoa, like I have been doxxed. I've been doxxed and harassed by white folks too. But I was just like, what? We need to really sit and like talk about that. We haven't really named it fully. We talk about it like it's drama or like it's Wendy Williams-esque or like it's just beef and da-da-da. I've made jokes like it's black family dynamics. But if you really get into it, why is it y'all like we're doing that to each other when we don't have to? Because the thing that gets me, here's the thing that gets me. This is why I'm bringing it up. A lot of us should understand being in white spaces, being in a corporate world, whether or being just in a field that's very white, whether it's academics, with social work, etc. That is within the presence of white people. Online is not with there, even though we're visible to white people, it's not within the structure or presence of white people. We don't have to engage with them, and the white folks don't have to engage with us, but we're doing it to each other anyways. It's just a creative space. It's as if, like, imagine going to a motherfucking creative space where there's an art gallery or whatever, or a concert, and then we're dogpiling each other there. Like, that's why I'm like, this doesn't have to be crabs in a bucket, and we're still taking that to just a creative space where people are talking.
Yeah. I wish we knew how to move in tandem with one another. Like, I really do.
You were going to answer. I think Bree was going to, what you think.
Well, I sort of want to ask, or just make a point by extension of what you're saying is, but when I think of people sending us like hate and doxing and all this stuff, really pay attention to what you're advocating for. You're advocating for mental unwellness of the Black community. So I don't know if it's white supremacy or whatever that are keeping these systems in place, but the crab in a bucket mentality is generational, you know? So when you have people trying to shake up the system and, shake up the status quo, it can be threatening to people who are complacent and comfortable within that status quo. So how dare you speak up? Who are you to, try to defy this system? So I think maybe
it just
to
came
answer your
to
question,
me.
Go ahead.
I have another piggyback. I think there's a sense of power.
Yeah.
There's a sense of power that they're able to latch onto by doing it in a space where it's not
a lack of power, like you don't feel powerful.
Right.
So this person,
and exactly. It's like they don't feel powerful because I always say, like, you're telling me what I need to say or what you're telling folks what they need to do on the internet, how they need to move, and you can't even stand up to your boss. Ooh. You can't leave your job. And I say that as shade. Ooh. And no, I do say that as shade, and I say that as shade specifically because I have been that person that had to lost a job behind this shit. So that's one thing people can never tell me. I lost a job behind this shit. Fuck out of here. You aren't. You haven't done that. And that's not me saying that you should. It's just like we have living in different types of scenarios and situations. So don't tell me what I need to do when I actually in real life had to figure this shit out. But that's a very working this like within capitalism, within the system. It's a very dehumanizing experience, especially as Black folks, right? Yeah. And we can see that be mirrored where it's like you're that conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. You go out there, of course the white man's happy with you. You smile at him all day. Yep. Lie to me, right? Mm-hmm. People talk about that shit all the time. The same way that happened in the home, I think we do that, and by extension online with each other, where it's like we don't feel power in the world. Having access to people that the world tells us can be just like tossed aside and discarded, even if they look just like us. It's just easy to do to feel a semblance of power when you don't in the rest of the world. Yep. We got to do better. That's crazy.
Period. I think you answered your own question.
But I will say, I think that's why it's important for us to continue to show up to the space. Back to your question earlier, Bree, like, how do we do it? We have to. If we don't, like, that type of mentality thrives. In fact, it's thriving now. But
I'm tired, Grandpa.
I know, me too. Lock arms and come on, y'all, because we're going to have to get it done. Like, we cannot leave the space because, like, we cannot leave this to them. We can't. We can't.
I love that perspective. I want to ask you both. So, how has like the hate and all the stuff that you've gotten affected your perspective of the Black community? Because before this happened to me, I was like ride or die gung ho, like we ride at dawn type shit. And now, like after just being so heavily attacked by Black men, my literal first love, like I love you niggas, but to be attacked so just like heinously has radically shifted my perspective of like we can't save them all.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Baby, I understand why Harriet kept that thing on her, and I understand why she left certain motherfuckers behind, because some of y'all niggas need to stay on the planet. You know what? No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
That's not that they need to. Some of them want to stay.
I'm not going to. What I meant to say was, well, no, I do understand why Harriet kept that thing on her. I love my people. I will never not love, like, I will always love my people. Always. Right. Like, and I will ride for my people. Always. And I understand that it's so complex and that everybody has different relationships with white supremacy and everybody has different levels of understanding of what that even means. It means different things to different people. And I'm not above, like, this is why I always get into it too, because some people use Blackness, view it as a shield. Some people view it as a sword. Some people, like, we have different ways of viewing Black identity. To me, you are a person, a human being, and we live in a world that attempts to dehumanize us as Black people. And what that frequently leads to is people treating you in one way or another, like you mentioned earlier. Either you're an object or you're a deity. And to me, you're none of those things. You're a person. I will talk to you like a person. And people get like a little confused by that, because if you get smart with me, I don't care what type of Black person you are. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to curse you the fuck back out. And I want you to know that. But people don't understand that. So my view of Black people is like, we are people first, and I will humanize us before anybody else, meaning you are a person, a whole person, a complex person, and I am always open to forgiving my people. One thing about it, even the motherfuckers who got smoked for me on the internet that's unjust and unfair, I will always sit down and talk it out with the motherfuckers if they come at me respectfully. That's it. Because I do want peace with my people, and as much as I understand, it's hurtful, I do also know how easy it is to fall into that power play where it's like you don't feel powerful in the real world. Yeah. So it's so easy to feel powerful when you're beating down on somebody who's closest to you because they are the closest in proximity. I get it. So if anyone ever wants to like reach across and reach out, and I've had this happen recently, somebody reached out to me after joining in on a dog pile for me years ago. Like, of course, I'm going to open the door and I'm cool with hashing it out if you are willing to acknowledge what happened and transpired. I don't have to hold animosity for my people in my heart because I get it. And I know, like, we got to get motherfuckers together from time to time, and I'm pro that too.
I love that.
Well,
I want to be clear. I love Black people. I feel like I should. Yeah. The fact that I even have to say that.
You don't have to.
Me off, because I feel like the motivation behind this was healing. You know. So I don't know.
I mean, I think your question was real. I think for me, what it showed me was like, all white people could be on and white supremacy would still be in the room. Ooh. And that is something that everyone moved. Everyone moved in the room, even the producer.
Clock it. Oh, goodness.
He went, ooh. It's true.
Yeah, well.
When I realized all white people could be dead and gone and white supremacy would still be in the room, that means there has to be some type of accountable discussions that we have amongst each other about how we're allowing whiteness, white supremacy in the room and subscribing to it. Like, subscribing to it. My mom, because I come from educated folks' home. My mom was, she just got her EDD. and she was in a class where she was talking. If you don't know what that is, that's a doctorate in education. She was in a class, something about race, but they were talking about whiteness as like a religion, and then people subscribing to it as that. So it's like not that it's like whiteness is intangible, like it's an intangible thing. They created it, and it's like anybody can subscribe to that shit. And I'm like, yeah, there's black folks that subscribe to a lot of pillars of white supremacy, and not only subscribe to it, you become the metaphorical white person in the room. As in, you, if the white mass is not in here, you're gonna be the one. Well, you make sure we gotta do this and talk like this, or you're gonna be the person to bring in the homophobia. You're gonna bring in the person that tells a black woman what she needs to do. So it's like, how do you feel being the black person that acts as the proxy to white supremacy, and how do we feel about you in the space? And
I'm sorry, because you're reminding me of this tweet I saw earlier.
What?
You know the Lord Farquaad rapper, like he got the white one with the bob in the club with all them black folk. Somebody was like, black people are the most inclusive people on the planet.
Yes.
And somebody was like, until it's a black woman, a black queer person, or a black disabled person, or a fat person.
I did see
then
that.
they're not. Like,
I did see that.
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
sick.
Continue, sorry.
But I think this is a really, I take heart to heart this question, because, you know, when I went and called them motherfuckers bullet bags, I went there because I went Bree.
God damn. That's great.
Sorry, that's not funny. I'm so sorry.
It's fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
They had me fucked up. They were calling me bed, all types of name in the book for 4 days straight. I was like,
listen, they will say all this crazy shit and expect you to not clap back. And it's
Always.
just like, I'm also still a person, and I will defend myself.
I have a crazy mouth in a lot of different ways, and that's one of them.
Now I'm the problem because I said your mama titties long. Wow. You just said I should die.
Dude, like that's I could have said way worse.
I can't match your energy.
Don't get me, because one thing I'll do is search a tweet for RIP. Oh. I will search Twitter page and say you need to be going to the gravesite.
I'm trying to be above it.
Do y'all tap into the petty? I be seeing your tweets.
I do, yeah. They get mad. It gets worse for me when I do it, though.
It does. Yeah. And we try to tell Shahem everyone.
I'm supposed to be a perfect therapist at all times.
It's not about perfect. It's also for your peace. If it didn't make it worse for you, I think it'd be more like, but it'd be like, just look.
Like when I told that girl I spit on her.
Yes.
She said I was unintelligent. She said I was unintelligent.
I didn't say.
It makes me feel good to tell these niggas their hairline is fucked up.
Whatever.
I'm sure it does.
And non-black people don't get to talk to me disrespectfully.
You're not wrong. And just as friends, just be like, but if it gets worse for you, it's like at the end of the day, I'm caring about people's mental, the well-being. Petty to an extent. And then if it gets too, I'm like, even for myself, I dial it back, because it's like, then I'll just stay locked into it. But I didn't want to end the bullet back statement. I didn't want to end the sentence there, because they're gonna be like, see, look, she don't care. I think for me, it was me realizing that I could get to that place of hurt. No, I knew that. I knew I could get there. Sorry, yeah, no. I'm really trying to be serious right now.
We won't let
sorry,
you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no.
I'm not laughing.
I knew I could get to that place of hurt. And it was the realization that was like burrowing underneath. And it felt like a very extra betrayal that was coming from people in my own community. Right? And the realization that like, damn, and I still love my community. So me saying that really, truly does not align with what it is that I feel and want and think. You know what I mean? So like, how do I reconcile that I'm harmed by like a lot of people in my community, right? And I still want to care. I care about them. It's a matter of like, I don't know, like I guess vetting and doing a checks and balances and kind of like, I can't bring everybody. Yeah. And I'm not going to try to
be like, what type of nigga are you? Yeah. I hate doing that like discernment, that process. Because it's just like, are you safe? Do you love yourself? Because if you don't love yourself, you probably don't like me. It's just, it's complicated. Like, I have such a deep love for Black people and Blackness and our culture and all that we contribute to society. Amen. And I just have this desperate urge for us to just, and I don't want to say be better, but be different, be healthy, be thriving, to not have that crab in a bucket mentality, for you to feel empowered because I'm also empowered, not you feel inferior because of XYZ, you know. And that comes with being a therapist, is awareness is empowerment. So if I have these tools, this knowledge, these skills, I want to heighten your awareness so you feel empowered. But I also don't want to be attacked for that, you know. So it's just like this dichotomy of like, I love niggas.
Bad.
Niggas love. It's that one, I don't know what creator. It's like a snippet. He's like, but do they like niggas? That's where I'd be at 24/7. Like, is this a safe space for us? And like, I found that on the internet, in small pockets, there is this very rich community of Black folks who are trying to uplift and heal our community. And there are others who are just stuck in that white supremacy, who just, it won't allow them to move or shift forward. And I like that you said we just have to keep going because we have to. Like, we literally signed this contract.
I don't,
you know?
it's unfortunate.
Like, I'd be thinking like, damn, it had to be me. Because I think all of us posted, like, none of us here, every content creator I know didn't play SEO, plan a way to get viral. It was like, I just started to talk about shit and everyone just wanted to listen to me.
Literally.
Okay, which is such a cool thing, by the way.
Yeah, probably. Before we, I guess before we go, I want to just give Bree a shout. Like, no,
we got 2 segments.
Those are the fun ones. I guess we can, right?
Yeah.
At the end.
What you mean?
I just wanted to praise Bree.
Oh, of course.
That's why I was, before we went to the fun, shitty segment.
Okay.
Like, little
we have
segments.
2 segments left, but we do want to give you your flowers. Like, I am, like, you want to go first?
Yeah. I really am so happy to see that you're doing well. And, like, throughout these last couple years, I never stopped following you, stopped, like, watching, stopped checking in. I would periodically just go to your page to see, like, if there's an update, if you've posted, if you're doing what you're up to now, and like your story and the way that you've like prevailed through it. I think if we're talking about canceling, like your story is one of the most pertinent cases of like cancellation that I feel like I've ever seen and ever experienced, and to see it all happen in real time, and to see you still here, still standing, and being vulnerable in the process of like, I'm breaking down or it's been rough, and like, I'm so honored to like share space with you and to know you and to know seriously, like seriously, it's not just enough that you're strong. It's like you've shown your authenticity throughout. And whether it's the strong moments or whether it's the moments where it's like the really vulnerable moments, the ones you talking your shit, the moments that you're saying I'm a bad bitch, the moments where you're shifting and changing, like I just really admire you. Thank you. And you're in your purpose. You're doing the shit that you need to do for a reason. And your clients coming back to you is a testament to that shit. And I'm so happy to hear that. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really
Listen, you already know how I feel. I love you down. And I got it immediately. And clinician to clinician, Black clinician to Black clinician, not only do I see you, but I genuinely appreciate you and know that your voice is so important in this space. I have stood by you since the moment that shit started popping, and I'm going to stand by you till the wheels fall off. People don't understand how much of a gift you are, and I want you to know that I understand how much of a gift you are. And even if some people are moved in the wrong way, just know that you move people in the right way too. There are so many of us who appreciated what you said, who echoed what you said, who were inspired by what you said, and I thank you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm gonna cry like a fucking baby when we get done with this. Because I really appreciate both of you so much, and like reaching out and having this conversation, because I have just experienced this darkness that I thought was going to take my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized through that adversity, it's made me so much stronger, so much more empowered, and even more motivated to continue to keep going. And it's been through friendships like this that have really just like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't harm anybody. Like,
No.
You shook some shit up, so
Yeah.
keep going.
I'm so glad you're still here.
That really means the fucking world to me. I appreciate you both so
We
much.
Gotta hold each other.
We really do.
Okay, our next segment is Uncultured of the Week.
I gave a brief of them. If you remember them, I don't know if you do, but we can go over it again.
Yeah. So Uncultured of the Week, for those who don't know, is when we describe something, someone, a movement, a show, anything you can imagine as unredeemable or uncultured. So who wants to go first? What's your Uncultured of the Week?
The current state of the world.
Oof, yes. Very
Maybe.
Uncultured.
As a therapist, I feel sometimes like a hypocrite trying to motivate people to, be their best selves. Like, everything's fine. It's okay when the actual fucking world is on fire.
Yeah.
So I will just say the world, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncultured of the Week for me, people in the comment sections with private accounts and a cartoon Abby who have the most disparaging and disgusting things to say to other human beings, yet you're afraid to even put yourself on the line. I think that you are a plague to the society and that you don't even recognize how you contribute to the downfall of humanity as a whole. I think you should stop that, and I think you should reflect. I hope you are met with love when you decide to change your evil ways. That's it. You are wicked. You are wicked. And I'm not talking about Alphaba.
You ain't shit.
Yeah.
Uncultured of the Week. I'm going to say, did y'all watch the Oscars?
No. Just snippets.
Snippets? To those of you who did, I'm going to say the Uncultured of the Week is the person who decided to put Lacrimosa for the memorial part. Have you heard that song? Do you know Lacrimosa?
I was familiar last night, child. Everybody been talking about
because why would you play such a menacing, eerie Mozart requiem for a memorial? It was. I literally thought the souls were coming out from the but you. No, if you have it, you have to go watch. Actually, you know what? I heard ABC on YouTube. They changed it. They put different music, but it's okay because I took a video of me watching it in real time. It was Lacrimosa.
I would like to see that.
I'll do it. And it was like The Purge. I said, okay, y'all. Who made that decision? Go back to the drawing board.
Okay. You want to introduce our next segment?
Our next segment is Uncancel Court, where we think of something that has been canceled and we have a minute to argue our case on why it should be uncanceled. I always don't have
Who wants to go first? I have my timer out. Do you have your uncanceled argument? I have mine if y'all want me to go first.
You go first.
Okay. My time starts now. Uncancel disliking of, and I know I've said something along the lines of this. Uncancel just disliking a bitch and moving on with your day. You do not have to let the world know. You don't have to let that person know. You don't have to let me know. You don't have to let your mom know. You should speak to a therapist about it. I really recommend explaining to your therapist why you have so much smoke for a stranger you've never met or had a conversation with in your life. But you don't have to let everybody know every hateful thought you have in your fucking head, ho. Uncancel keeping shit to yourself. Please and thank you. I don't even need the full minute. I will actually use the last 20 seconds to say, go to fucking therapy. And yes, I said, see that fucking lady. Go see that fucking lady. I don't care if you're upset at me saying it. That don't make it any less true or necessary. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. And I say that with love. Like, I want you to be better. In fact, I need you to be better before I smack the shit out you. And that's my time.
You're so
Yeah.
That's my time.
Okay, who's next?
Oh my God,
I only needed a minute.
I don't even know. I told Christine, I was like, uncancel me.
Hold on.
Uncancel
I'm going to give you
me.
your minute.
Listen,
All right, your time starts now.
I don't even know. Okay. All I said was get some help. As a sex therapist in training, You know, I want people to fuck. I want people to make love. I want people to be able to communicate. I want people to like be in community. And for y'all to treat me so fucking terribly because I was in my booty shorts and my tank top and I said some shit that you didn't like does not mean that I am not a child of God. And I just feel like all the hate that I still get to this day from men whose moms or fathers hurt them is like misplaced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because your dad or whatever was not in your life does not give you liberty and like responsibility to attack a random bitch who don't even wear bras. Like find something else to do with your time. Like my hippie love child, everybody love everybody spirit attitude mentality was destroyed for a really long time, and I had to build that shit back up behind some dudes who don't even again wash their ass. They have no communication skills.
That's your time.
No shit.
That's your time. But I think you did a good job. I think you that was a good argument.
It sure was.
Uncancel me because I'm a cool ass bitch.
Okay.
Everybody love everybody. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't prepared.
No, that was good.
That was great. You didn't breathe. Do I have mine? This isn't something that's been canceled. I just wanted to talk about girls kissing, but never mind.
Uncancel girls kissing. Your time starts now. Go ahead.
No, uncancel. Oh my God, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
It's because of Halle Berry kissed Adrian Brody and she should have kissed the woman.
Do you want to argue that?
I do. But I'm trying to figure out how to frame that.
Uncancel girls kissing girls. WLW. Women loving women.
You're right. Let's do that. Uncancel girls kissing girls.
And your time starts now.
Uncancel girls kissing girls. So this is coming off the, back of Halle Berry went to kiss Adrian Brody on the lips in front of his girlfriend as a payback, to him when he did it to her on the stage. And I'm saying, Halle Berry, you should have kissed the woman. And because that to me is real woman love. That's girls supporting girls. That's a girl's girl. It's Women's History Month. Imagine the power of that statement. That to get back at this man, have an affair with his woman. Oh. Right? Exactly. And then you go off and build a beautiful life together. Again, what? Women supporting women. Girls loving girls. That's the true lick back. And like I said in my video, there could be some other lick backs too. Oh, yeah. And I just think we should uncancel girls kissing girls. Uncancel is very homophobic, heteronormative. I think it would have been way more powerful had you seen the two women kissing. Yeah. Ignore the ogre of a man to the side.
Oh, ogre.
Decenter men.
That's your minute, sure.
Is it?
Yeah, you did a good job.
Could have went longer.
Yeah, we know. I noticed.
Can I ask another totally unrelated question that I just want both of your opinions about? What? Have y'all heard about that man who said he would rather fuck a dog?
Rest in peace. Anyways, closing out the show.
I didn't know that he died.
Sorry. You know what's so funny? People was like, oh, like you need to have empathy. I don't have to have empathy for everybody. Everybody don't deserve empathy. When you have a lack of empathy for others, sometimes there's going to be a lack of empathy for you. Especially when your lack of empathy harms and hurts other people. That's just the reality of that. Don't got to even get too much further into that. But
no, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Bree, thank you so much for coming. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok under Unusually Bree. You can find me on OnlyFans as Unusually Bree as well, where we do kinky, sexy, mental health content. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I've been kind of taking a little break, but we coming back.
Period. Bree, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. You guys have to have me back. This is wonderful.
Oh, you don't even have to ask twice. Thank you.
I love you both so much. Thanks
and
for
the love
having
is
me.
mutual. Bye, Bree.